Every moment I spend lost in this fantasy feels like a secret I've been carrying, and the weight of it is becoming unbearable. I want to share it, to let you in on the dream I've woven around us. There's a world I've created in my mind where you and I are free from all the constraints of reality. The more I indulge in this fantasy, the more I crave to share it with you. It's a story waiting to be told. I can no longer pretend that this fantasy is just a fleeting thought. It has grown into a vivid tapestry of emotions and desires, and I yearn for you to see the beauty in it with me. In the quiet moments when everything else fades away, I find myself immersed in thoughts of us. I can't hold back these feelings any longer. They're begging to be expressed, shared, and explored together. This fantasy is a spark igniting my imagination, filling my heart with a longing that's too intense to keep hidden. I want you to join me on this journey and see the wonders I've dreamed of for us. It's no longer just a daydream, it's become a necessity. I need to share this vision with you to see if you can feel the same electric connection that has me so entranced. Every time I think about our future, I'm swept away into a whirlwind of hope and excitement. I can't keep this fantasy to myself anymore. It feels too big, too real, and too beautiful to hide. I've been holding on to this fantasy as if it were a delicate secret, but the truth is, it feels more like a calling. I want to reveal the depths of my heart to you and see where our dreams might lead. The lines between reality and fantasy are starting to blur, and it's becoming impossible to ignore the feelings that arise. I want to open up about this vision I've crafted, to see if you'll step into it with me. I can't keep this fantasy locked away any longer. It's bursting at the seams, and the thought of sharing it with you fills me with both excitement and fear. But I know it's time. This fantasy has become a part of who I am, intertwining with my thoughts and emotions. I need to share it, to express the hopes and dreams I have for us, and to see if you can envision them too. Every day, I find myself dreaming of a life that includes you in ways I've never imagined before. I can't hold on to this fantasy in silence anymore. It's begging to be brought into the light. I often find myself daydreaming about the moments we could share. It's more than just a fantasy. It's a vision that I want to explore with you, to see if we can turn it into reality. This fantasy has taken root in my heart, growing stronger with each passing moment. I can't keep it bottled up any longer. It's time to let it breathe and see if you feel the same pull towards it. I've imagined countless scenarios, each one more vivid than the last. Now I'm ready to share them with you and discover if our dreams align in this beautiful journey. Holding onto this fantasy has been exhilarating yet exhausting. I want to share my deepest desires with you and see if they resonate with your heart as they do with mine. Every time I think of us, a fantasy unfolds in my mind, rich with possibility. It's a world I can't keep to myself any longer. I want to take you by the hand and show you what I see. This fantasy isn't just a fleeting thought. It's an intricate story waiting to be told. I want you to hear it, to feel it, and perhaps to live it with me. The urge to share this fantasy has become overwhelming. It's like a fire within me that can no longer be contained. I want to explore it with you, to see where it might lead us. I can no longer ignore the fantasy that dances through my mind. It's a dream woven with hope and longing, and I want to share it with you in hopes that you can see its beauty too. This fantasy has painted my thoughts with vibrant colors, and it feels wrong to keep it hidden. I want to unfold it like a treasure map, guiding you to the wonders I see for us. As I navigate through my thoughts, I find myself lost in this fantasy that begs for attention. I can't keep it to myself anymore. It's time to share this journey with you. The more I daydream about us, the more real it feels. I want to share these thoughts, these fantasies with you and see if they spark a similar fire within you. Every time I close my eyes, I see us in a world of our own creation. It's too beautiful to keep hidden. I need to share this fantasy and see if you can picture it with me. There's a whole universe of dreams swirling in my mind, and I can't keep this fantasy to myself any longer. I want you to explore it with me and see where our imaginations might take us. It's become impossible to ignore the longing to share my thoughts with you. This fantasy has woven itself into my very being, and I want to see if you feel its pull too. This fantasy has grown into a profound feeling that I can't contain any longer. It's time to voice my thoughts and explore the depths of what we could create together. Every fantasy I have about us is a whisper of what could be. I can't keep it to myself anymore. I want to share these dreams and see if they resonate with your heart. This fantasy feels like a story that's meant to be shared, one that could become a beautiful reality if only we dare to explore it together. I want you to be a part of it. I often find myself lost in thoughts of us, envisioning a future that's bright and full of possibilities. It's a fantasy I can no longer keep to myself. It's time to share it with you. These thoughts of us have transformed into a beautiful tapestry of hope and longing. I can't keep this fantasy hidden. It's time to unravel it and share it with you. Every dream I have about us fills my heart with warmth and excitement. I want to share these feelings and see if we can create something truly magical together. This fantasy has become a beacon in my mind, guiding me toward possibilities I never thought existed. I can't keep it to myself any longer. I want you to see it too. I've been harboring this fantasy, and it feels like it's bursting at the seams. It's time to let it spill out, to share the thoughts and dreams that have filled my heart. The desire to share this fantasy with you is overwhelming. It's a vision that dances through my mind, and I want to know if you can feel its rhythm too. This fantasy is a vibrant dream that has taken root in my heart. I can't keep it to myself any longer. It's time to share it and see where it might lead us. In my mind, I've crafted a beautiful narrative filled with moments we could share. I want to express these fantasies to you and see if you can envision them with me. These thoughts of you have spiraled into a fantasy that fills me with hope and excitement. I can't keep it hidden any longer. It's time to share this dream and see if you feel the same. Every time I think about the possibilities, my heart races with excitement. This fantasy has become a part of me, and I need to share it with you to see if it resonates. This fantasy isn't just a passing thought. It's a vivid landscape that I've been exploring in my mind. I want to invite you into this world and see if you can feel its magic. The moments I spend dreaming about us fill my heart with a longing I can't ignore. It's time to share this fantasy and see if we can create something beautiful together. I've been holding on to this fantasy like a precious gem, and it's time to reveal it. I want to share the dreams that swirl in my mind and see if they resonate with your heart. Every thought of you ignites a flame of possibility in my heart. I can't keep this fantasy hidden any longer. It's time to share it and explore where it might take us. This fantasy has woven itself into the fabric of my thoughts, becoming an inseparable part of me. I need to share it with you and see if it sparks a similar passion in your heart. As I daydream about us, I find myself longing to express these thoughts. I can't keep this fantasy to myself any longer. It's time to reveal the beauty I see in us.